my people, it dey hot oh. Tinubu's government is under severe heat. You know the drama playing out at the National Assembly between Senate President Godswill AKPABIO and Senator NATASHA. Since this incident, it has triggered different reaction from different quarters. But this particular update I want to share with you, you need to watch it. Oh. One very intelligent lawyer has come out to air his view on this matter. You need to watch what he said. Please, in a moment you are going to see the video, but before then, if this is the first time you are coming in contact with my YouTube channel, do well to subscribe so that you'll be the first to get the latest update. Watch the video.
Today we are leading with a conversation about some of the drama that is going on in the National Assembly, specifically the Senate. This past week, the Senate actually suspended one of its members, that is Senator NATASHA Akpoti-Uduaghan. And we remember that she had made an allegation about sexual harassment just before the suspension. And so we want to discuss what exactly is going on, what are the implications of the activities, of the things that we've seen this week, and then what are the legal dimensions to it. To join me in that important conversation, I have two important guests.
Please do well to subscribe to this YouTube channel by hitting the subscription button below to subscribe. And also turn on your notification so that you'll be the first to get updates on this channel. Thank you.
All right. And here in the studio, I have a returning guest, Mr. Ibrahim Usman Wali, who is a legal practitioner in Abuja. Mr. Wali, welcome back to Inside Sources.
Thank you. Thank you, Laul.
All right. Under the 1999 Constitution, does the Senate as an institution, do they really have the powers to suspend an elected senator from doing his or her work?
Thank you for this question. I see that you try to limit it to the 1999 Constitution, which is fine. But I have to say at the onset that by the totality of our laws, and not just the Constitution, including judicial pronouncements, and obviously specifically the Constitution, the Senate or the House of Representatives or the respective house in the states, houses in the states, do not have the power whatsoever to suspend an elected senator or an elected member generally. They don't have the power whatsoever. So let me begin by quoting Section 4, subsection 8, because it forms the foundation upon which every other argument is going to be built. Section 4, subsection 8, Section 4 generally provides for the legislative powers and, saying that legislators have the powers to make law and then, to oversee the other parts of government as well, yes. But subsection 8 says that in the exercise of that power, they are subject to the court. That is, they are subject to the court's supervision as well. Right. And they cannot make any law that ousts or seeks to oust the jurisdiction of the court. That is very, very important, right? Now let's go to Section 60, which provides for these Senate standing orders. The Senate standing orders is constitutionally rooted. But it begins by saying that subject to the Constitution, or rather subject to the provisions of the Constitution, you may make standing orders for your internal affairs. Right? So these two provisions are very important as anchors to what comes next. Now, if we go to Section 67, it provides for how a senator can vacate his seat legally, or how a House of Representatives can vacate his seat legally. Absence for more than 1/3 of the entire tenure. Maybe if you switch political parties, if you are no more a Nigerian, if you're part of a group that is not recognized by law, right? So all of these things are provided in the Constitution that, you would need to vacate the seat. Section 69 now goes on to provide recall proceedings that, people who actually elected you have the possibility, have the power rather, to recall you back. Now, in legal parlance generally, right, where a law provides for a group of things in a particular class or in a particular genus, and it provides for them specifically, then every other thing that is excluded is deemed absolutely excluded. So if it provides for vacancy, cessation of tenure in the office, it provides for recall, and it is silent on suspension, it means that there is no suspension. And the House cannot suspend you, without a doubt. But let me take you to judicial decisions. There was a particular case. Important. Yes, and I will reference this case because of the, there's some sort of similarity with the current case. Honorable Dana Rifkatu versus Speaker of ABUJA said in 2017, the Court of Appeal gave the decision. She was the only female in the House, by the way. It's very important.
In ABUJA State.
In ABUJA State at the time. She challenged the moving of the capital of the Tafawa Balewa local government to Bogoro. She's from Bogoro to Bonono. She challenged it, and they suspended her. So she went to court. She got judgment at the Federal Court, and she went to the They went to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal upstamped the judgment of the Federal High Court. But one thing that is very important here is the judges, in their wisdom, they said that only those who employ a person can suspend the person. And then they went on to say that you cannot withdraw her salary and allowances because by the Constitution, it is the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Financial Commission who decide the pay of legislators.
So you don't have a control over it.
You don't have a control over the pay. So that is Section 111.
So not only don't you have powers about suspension, you also do have powers over our remuneration.
God bless you. If you look at Section 70 of the Constitution, it provides for the remuneration of National Assembly members. And it is not within their own ambit. It is the RMFAC.
That does
right? So if you look at the totality of these provisions, you see that they don't have the power. But then if you also escalate it to general democratic provisions, if you look at Section 77, for example, it is the same section that gives every citizen who is above 18 the suffrage, the right to vote. It says that every constituency in Nigeria must be represented at every given time.
Yes.
You must be represented.
Right.
So if you look at the totality of these provisions, you will see that by the Constitution or by our law, looking at it in a Puritan perspective, because the standing order provides for suspension provisions, right? But that is why Section 60 is very important, because it says that your standing order is subject to the Constitution. So if you look at it like that, you'd see that there is no provision for suspension whatsoever. But there are other decisions like that of Honorable Dino Melai at the time with the Progressives against the House of Representatives, although the issue there was whether the suspension for more than, an indefinite suspension at the time was valid. And JTO, I think the current Chief Judge of the Federal High Court today, he said it clearly that you cannot go against your own standing order. Your own standing order says that you can only suspend for 14 days. And that is the current, provision in even the current standing order that was amended in 2023, that you can only suspend for 14 days, maximally, by the way. It actually begins that, okay, if it is a minor offense, a minor misconduct, you should suspend for the rest of the proceeding of the day. However, if it is major, then you can now, suspend for maximally 14 days. Now, I think she was suspended for raising for the seat issue, raising Order 10. And it is very, surprising, because if you actually read the Order 10, it says that where a senator actually raises any issue hinging on the privilege
of the senator,
of the senator, every other matter should take. It is there. She read it, but nobody, every other matter should take
second place.
Yes, second place until it is resolved. It is there. So if they are relying on the same order on one hand, then I think it only makes sense for them to rely on the entire order to read it in community. But I don't think that is the case, because if you look at what the head of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions said about the nullity of her petition because of the signature, which I don't agree with, by the way. If you look at the provisions that follow that, particularly sub 7, it says that where the matter is in court already, you hands off. And he read a letter from MJ Numa SN where, a court order was attached that, this matter was, not that this matter is in court, in fact, that there's a court order, a direct court order that says that you should, wait until, and it says you should come back by 10th of March, by the way. It's not as if, it's indefinite. But then they still went on and flagrantly disobeyed the court order.
By suspending her.
By suspending her. By even continuing with the seat in itself. The thing with court orders is, even if you don't agree with it, even if you think it's illegal, unless you set it aside, you are bound to obey it constitutionally. So if you look at the totality of our laws, frankly, there's been a breach. There's been a breach, and
so the Senate of the Federal Republic have breached their own rules.
They breached their own rules.
And they've breached the Constitution.
They breached the Constitution.
And they have also ignored judicial rulings.
Yes, which is, if you ask in my opinion, which is actually the wider. We should be the wider
of course,
focus
if you look at the whole
because
thing.
it just by that stroke of genius, they've undermined the Senate itself, that is the legislative arm of government, and they've undermined the judiciary.
Okay.